Hello students, today we will learn how microprocessor is communicate to external devices. So there are few basic operations like memory read, memory write, IO read and IO write, which is performed by microprocessor to communicate to external devices or peripheral. So these are also called machine operations. So these are called machine operations also. Suppose there is a memory connected to a microprocessor, and if microprocessor wants to read from the memory, so this operation will be called as memory read. And suppose if microprocessor wants to write into the memory, so this operation will be called as memory write operation. And if there is a input device like keyboard, so if a programmer or a user wants to give an input to the microprocessor from a keyboard, so microprocessor will perform IO read operation and receives a data from keyboard. Similarly, if microprocessor wants to send a data to some external peripheral like a monitor or a CPU or a screen or an LED, so microprocessor will perform IO write operation and sends a data to a screen. So to perform these machine operations or each machine operations, there are certain steps which is required by microprocessor. Step 1 is identifying the peripheral for the memory location, and step 2 is providing timing and synchronization signals like read and write, and there are few other synchronization signal which is also required during this process. And then information can be transmitted from memory or IO devices to processor, or from processor to IO device or memory. So let us understand how this process is done. So this is a diagram or a microprocessor architecture through which we can understand how microprocessor performs memory read operations. So this diagram shows a memory read operations which is performed based upon these three steps. So the first step, as we have seen, is the addressing. So the first thing is that this is a microprocessor and this is a memory. So microprocessor identifies a particular location, suppose 2005, from these 16-bit memory address lines. So microprocessor loads a 16-bit memory address on these memory address lines or memory address buses and send it to this memory. So now memory location will be highlighted or an active through which a microprocessor wants to read the signal. So this process is called addressing. The next step comes is issuing a timing signal or synchronization signal. So here a read signal will be issued by microprocessor, or we can say a memory read signal. So this is a memory read signal issued by microprocessor to memory. So now memory comes to know that the processor is highlighting this or selecting this particular memory location, and microprocessor wants to read from this memory location. So this is the second step, and the third step is the data transfer. So now data transfer will take place. So whatever the memory location is selected through these address lines, the data at this particular location will be transferred to microprocessor via these data lines. So these are the roles of address lines, data lines and control lines through which microprocessor can communicate from memory or any other external peripheral. So in this example we have understood that how memory read operation is performed. The number one step is the addressing, which is done or initiated by microprocessor 8085, and the next step is the read signal which is issued by microprocessor to memory, so that memory comes to know that microprocessor wants to read from the memory. And the last step is data transfer, which is taking place through these data lines. So whatever the data on this particular address will be transferred from memory to microprocessor. Suppose if CPU or microprocessor wants to perform memory write operation, the steps will be similar. The number one step, as we have seen, is the addressing. So addressing will be done. Next step, the write signal. So write signal will be issued by microprocessor to the memory, and then the data transfer will take place. So the only difference in memory read and memory write is the signal read and write. So accordingly, memory read and memory write will take place. One point to remember here, understand this, that microprocessor 8085 works on 3 megahertz frequency. So which turns out that the time required or the time period for this frequency is 1/3 microsecond. So this is the time period which is called T1 time frame, or the operations will be measured with respect to this time. So here in our case, the memory read operation is performed in 3 steps. The number one is addressing, which is performed in T1 time cycle and the next step is read signal, which is performed in another time cycle T2, and then data transfer takes place in T3 timing cycle. So all in all, total 3 timing cycles required, T1, T2 and T3, and all these timing cycles are equal in value, which is nothing but a T time period, which is 1/3 microsecond. So this is how a microprocessor communicates from memory. Coming next to the another important point, that the address lines which we have used here, 16-bit address lines. So there are two parts of this 16-bit address lines, the 8-bit lower address lines and 8-bit upper address lines. So the lower address lines are time shared, or we can say it has dual role of addressing and data both. So to demultiplex these time shared buses, the concept will be used here, which is explained in this diagram. So one important signal is ALE signal. So this ALE stands for address latch enable. So ALE plays a very important role to demultiplex these time shared. So these are the time shared 8-bit low order address bus, which is also used as data. So in earlier example we have seen memory read takes place in 3 steps. We will repeat the same concept here again to understand how time sharing buses works. So number one is, we have seen, is the addressing. So the address, suppose 2005. For example, if we consider this address 2005, so this is a 16-bit address which is loaded on 16-bit address lines. So these are the 8 high order address buses and these are the 8-bit low order buses. So 20 is loaded here and 05 will be loaded here. So when microprocessor loads 05 data on these low order address buses, it also enables this ALE signal as 1. So during this addressing procedure, ALE signal goes to 1. So this ALE signal enables this latch, and whatever the data is available on these address lines will be transferred to from this latch, or it's a D latch, and this data will be available here. So 2005 will be the address which is addressed to the memory, this memory, and the next signal will be issued as, suppose, read signal. So this read signal will be issued, so this read signal issued to this memory, and memory will come to know that microprocessor wants to read any data from this selected 2005 memory location. And the third step comes is, whatever the data is available at this particular location, suppose in our case this is 4F, so this data 4F from this memory will be transferred through these lines into the microprocessor. So you can see here, these are the address lines on which we are using these lines for addressing in the first step, and in the third step during the data transfer we are also using these address lines to transfer the data. So on T1 time period these lines are used as addressing, and T3 time period these lines are used for data transfer access. So this ALE signal in the last step, in third step, ALE signal goes to 0. So when ALE signal goes to 0, so this creates a cutoff from these lines to these lines. So whatever will be available on these lines will not be able to transpass through this latch, because ALE signal goes 0 in this step. So now whatever will be available here or here will be transferred through these data lines. So these lines will now behave as data lines. Coming to the next concept is, there are three important terminologies which is used here. The first one is the T state, which is defined as the subdivision of operation performed in one clock. As I have explained, the microprocessor works on the frequency of 3 MHz, which turns out the time period as 1/3 microsecond. So this time period is called T state, which is used to measure the timing and synchronization of microprocessor. Next one is the machine cycle. So we have seen in earlier slides there are few basic machine cycles or machine operations like memory read, memory write, IO read and IO write. So to perform these machine operations, microprocessor requires a particular time period which is called machine cycle. So time required to complete one machine operation is called machine cycle. And the last one is the instruction cycle. There are many instructions which is performed by microprocessor. To perform these operations, microprocessor require time. So time to complete these instructions are nothing but called instruction cycle.